In the year 2147, Earth had changed a lot. People no longer lived only on their home planet. They had built cities on Mars and small bases on moons like Europa and Titan. Space travel was common now, but humanity still hadn't found proof of life beyond Earth. That all changed one quiet evening when Clara Bennett noticed something strange. Clara was an astrophysicist working at a large observatory in New Mexico. She spent most of her days studying stars and planets through powerful telescopes. On this particular night, she was analyzing data from a radio telescope aimed at Proxima Centauri, the closest star to the Sun. At first, she thought it was just random noise, the kind of interference caused by solar flares or equipment glitches. But as she looked closer, she realized the signal wasn't random at all. It had patterns that repeated themselves in a way that seemed deliberate. Clara called her colleague Ethan Cole to take a look. Ethan was good with numbers and codes, so he started running tests on the signal. After hours of work, they discovered something incredible. The signal contained what looked like math equations. These weren't simple equations either. They were complex formulas that matched advanced concepts in physics and engineering. Even more surprising, part of the signal included coordinates pointing to a distant star system far outside human reach. "This can't be natural," Clara said, her voice trembling with excitement. "Something, or someone, sent this." Ethan nodded, though his face showed both awe and worry. If this is real, it could change everything we know about the universe. They decided to share their findings with the United Earth Council, a group of leaders responsible for making big decisions about space exploration. When Clara and Ethan presented their discovery, the room fell silent. Some council members leaned forward, intrigued by the possibility of alien contact. Others frowned, worried about the risks. One man, a politician named Victor Lane, spoke up loudly. "What if this is a trap? What if whoever sent this signal wants to hurt us?" Clara tried to stay calm. "We don't know yet, but ignoring it means missing a chance to learn something amazing. If there's intelligent life out there, shouldn't we try to understand it?" After much debate, the council agreed to send a team to investigate. The mission would use Asterisk, the Odyssey Asterisk, humanity's fastest and most advanced spaceship. Captain Ryan Hayes, a seasoned astronaut known for his steady leadership, was chosen to lead the expedition. Joining him were scientists and specialists, each picked for their unique skills. As preparations began, Clara couldn't stop thinking about the signal. Was it really from aliens? And if so, what did they want? She knew the journey ahead wouldn't be easy. Exploring deep space always came with dangers, and this mission felt different, bigger somehow. Still, she believed it was worth the risk. Humanity had always been curious, always reaching for the stars. Now, maybe those stars were reaching back. When the day finally came for Asterisk, the Odyssey Asterisk, to launch, thousands of people gathered to watch. Clara stood among them, her heart pounding as the engines roared to life. As the ship lifted off, disappearing into the sky, she whispered to herself, "Whatever's out there, we're ready." The journey to the distant star system was long and filled with uncertainty. Asterisk, the Odyssey Asterisk, moved faster than any human-made ship before it. But even at its top speed, the trip would take weeks. Inside the spacecraft, the crew worked hard to prepare for whatever awaited them. Each member of the team had a role to play, and they all knew how important their mission was. Captain Ryan Hayes kept a close eye on everything. He was calm under pressure, which helped keep the crew focused. Dr. Mia Lewis spent most of her time studying the data collected from the signal. She hoped to find clues about who, or what, had sent it. Logan Carter, the ship's engineer, made sure the engines and systems stayed in perfect condition. Sophie Evans, the linguist, practiced decoding symbols and languages, just in case they encountered writing or communication from an alien race. As the days passed, strange things began happening aboard the ship. The navigation system started acting up, showing incorrect readings that confused the crew. At night, many of them dreamed vividly of towering structures glowing with soft light. These dreams felt so real that some crew members woke up feeling disoriented. Even the ship's AI, usually reliable, detected faint energy signatures around them, though no one could explain where they came from. One evening, during dinner, Logan broke the silence. "Does anyone else feel like we're being watched?" he asked, looking around the table. The others nodded slowly. They had all noticed it too, a sense that something unseen was observing them. Captain Hayes tried to reassure everyone. "It's probably just stress," he said. "Deep space missions can mess with your mind." But not everyone was convinced. Clara Bennett, who had discovered the signal back on Earth, felt uneasy. She couldn't shake the feeling that the closer they got to the coordinates, the more the ship seemed to change. One day, while checking equipment in the observation deck, she saw something outside the window. It was a flicker of light, almost like a reflection, but there was nothing nearby to cause it. When she pointed it out to Ethan Cole, he shrugged. "Maybe it's cosmic dust catching the sun," he suggested, though his tone didn't sound very confident. Tensions grew as the crew debated whether to continue. Some, like Victor Lane, who had joined the mission as a representative of the United Earth Council, argued that they should turn back. "We don't know what's out there," he insisted. "What if it's dangerous? What if we're walking into a trap?" Others, like Mia and Sophie, believed they had to keep going. "If we give up now, we'll never learn the truth," Maya said firmly. "Isn't that why we came here? To explore and understand?" Finally, after much discussion, Captain Hayes made the decision to press on. "We've come this far," he said. "Let's see what's waiting for us." When they reached the coordinates, the crew stared in awe at what lay before them. Orbiting a massive gas giant was an enormous artificial structure, a ring world unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Its surface shimmered with iridescent colors, and arcs of energy pulsed across its frame. It looked both beautiful and intimidating. Logan let out a low whistle. "That thing is huge. How did anyone build something like that?" No one answered. They were too busy taking in the sight. For the first time since leaving Earth, the crew felt a mix of wonder and fear. Whatever had brought them here, it was clear they were about to face something extraordinary. As the Odyssey approached the ring world, Captain Hayes gave the order to prepare for landing. The next chapter of their journey was about to begin. The crew of the Odyssey landed on the ring world with a mix of excitement and caution. The surface beneath them was smooth and metallic, glowing faintly with an inner light. It felt strange to walk on something so alien yet perfectly crafted. Every step echoed softly, as if the ground itself was alive and listening. Dr. Mia Lewis was the first to examine the material. She ran her fingers over the surface, feeling its cool texture. "This isn't like anything we've seen before," she said, her voice full of wonder. "It's not just metal or stone. It's something else entirely." Using handheld scanners, she detected traces of biological matter embedded in the structure. This discovery shocked everyone. The builders of the ring world weren't purely mechanical beings. They had organic parts too. It was proof that whoever created this place once lived and breathed. While Mia worked, Sophie Evans explored nearby walls covered in intricate carvings. The symbols looked like writing, but they were unlike any language she had ever studied. Still, Sophie was determined to make sense of them. After hours of careful observation, she began to notice patterns. Some symbols repeated often, while others seemed connected in groups. Slowly, she started piecing together fragments of meaning. "I think these are instructions," she told the others, "or maybe warnings." Captain Ryan Hayes listened carefully but remained cautious. "We need to be careful here," he said. "We don't know what kind of technology we're dealing with, or if it's still active." His words reminded everyone of the risks they faced. The deeper they ventured into the ring world, the more unsettling it became. Lights flickered around them without warning, and soft hums filled the air, as though the structure was communicating in its own way. One day, while exploring a large chamber, the crew stumbled upon holographic projections. These images showed tall, elegant beings with shimmering skin and elongated limbs. Their eyes glowed softly, giving them an almost ethereal appearance. Through the projections, the crew learned about the Virili, the creators of the Ringworld. Long ago, the Virili ruled the galaxy, guiding younger species toward growth and understanding. But their reign ended because of conflicts among themselves, leaving behind only remnants of their greatness. Clara Bennett watched the projections with wide eyes. "They were amazing," she whispered, "so advanced. And now they're gone." The recordings also revealed another important detail. The signal Clara had discovered wasn't random. It was a test, a way to find civilizations capable of understanding and using advanced knowledge responsibly. If humanity passed the test, they would inherit the Virili's legacy. If they failed, the consequences could be dire. As the crew absorbed this information, tensions rose. Victor Lane, who had been skeptical since the start, voiced his fears. "What if we can't handle this? What if we mess up and destroy ourselves? Or worse, the entire galaxy?" Sophie tried to reassure him. "We won't know unless we try. Isn't that why we're here? To prove we're ready for something bigger." Despite their worries, the crew pressed on. They knew they couldn't turn back now. The Ringworld held answers to questions humanity had asked for centuries. It offered a chance to rise above their limitations and join the ranks of galactic civilizations. But as they moved deeper into the structure, the air grew heavier, charged with energy. It was as if the Ringworld was testing them already, watching their every move. Logan Carter muttered under his breath, "Feels like we're walking into a giant puzzle. One wrong step, and who knows what happens." Captain Hayes nodded. "Then let's make sure we don't take any wrong steps. Stay sharp, everyone." With determination in their hearts, the crew continued onward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The crew of Asterisk, the Odyssey Asterisk, soon realized that inheriting the Virili's legacy wouldn't be easy. To prove humanity's worth, they had to face a series of trials designed by the ancient builders. Each trial tested different aspects of human nature: compassion, intelligence, unity, and resilience. The stakes were high. Failure meant losing the chance to claim the legacy forever. The first trial took place in a large chamber filled with floating platforms suspended over a deep abyss. As the crew entered, the walls lit up with glowing symbols, and a voice echoed through the room. "Work together to cross," it said simply. The platforms shifted unpredictably, making it impossible for anyone to cross alone. Captain Ryan Hayes quickly stepped forward. "We need a plan," he said firmly. "If we don't move as one, we'll fall." Logan Carter suggested forming a chain, with each person holding onto the next. Clara Bennett and Ethan Cole worked out which platforms seemed stable enough to support their weight, while Sophie Evans kept an eye on the shifting patterns. It wasn't easy. Some platforms tilted or vanished entirely. But the team stayed focused. When Victor Lane slipped and nearly fell, Maya Lewis grabbed his hand just in time, pulling him back to safety. Their teamwork allowed them to reach the other side, passing the first trial. The second trial was even harder. This time, they found themselves in a dimly lit room where strange machines hummed with energy. A hologram appeared, showing a complex puzzle involving gravity and motion. "Solve this," the voice commanded. Everyone looked at Clara, whose sharp mind had already solved parts of the signal back on Earth. She studied the puzzle carefully, her brow furrowed in concentration. After several tense minutes, she figured out how to manipulate the machine's controls, aligning its components perfectly. The room brightened, signaling success. But not every trial went smoothly. In the third challenge, the crew faced a moral dilemma. They entered a hall where two doors stood before them. One door led to riches, treasures, and advanced technology beyond imagination. The other offered nothing but knowledge, a single crystal containing information about the universe. A message appeared: "Choose wisely. Your decision defines you." Arguments erupted immediately. Victor Lane wanted to take the riches, believing Earth needed resources more than abstract knowledge. Think of what we could do with that technology, he insisted, but Sophie disagreed. Knowledge is power, she countered. Without understanding, we'll misuse whatever we take. Captain Hayes tried to mediate, reminding everyone of their mission. This isn't about us. It's about proving humanity can make wise choices. Eventually, after much debate, they chose the door with the crystal. As they passed through, the voice returned, saying, "You value wisdom over greed. Well done." The final trial pushed them to their limits. They were placed in separate chambers, isolated from one another. Each chamber presented a personal fear or weakness. For Logan, it was the thought of failing those who depended on him. For Clara, it was the fear of being forgotten. Sophie saw visions of alien languages she couldn't decipher, leaving her feeling helpless. Despite these challenges, they drew strength from within and encouraged each other remotely using communication devices. When the trials ended, the crew reunited in a grand hall bathed in golden light. A shimmering figure appeared before them, a guardian called Solon. "You have proven yourselves worthy," Solon said. "Humanity possesses both flaws and virtues, but above all, you strive to grow and improve. That is why you are chosen." Relief washed over the crew, mixed with pride. They had faced their fears, worked together, and shown that humanity was ready for something greater. Now, they awaited the final step, claiming the Verlaise legacy. After passing the trials, the crew of Asterisk, the Odyssey Asterisk, stood before Solon, the guardian of the Verlaise legacy. The shimmering figure explained what awaited them next. "You have earned access to the central archive," Solon said, its voice calm but commanding. "Within it lies the knowledge and power left behind by the Verlaise. But remember, this gift comes with great responsibility." Solon led the crew to a massive chamber filled with towering crystalline structures. Each crystal pulsed with light, containing vast amounts of information, science, history, art, and technology far beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. The air hummed with energy, and the crew felt a mix of awe and humility as they stepped inside. "This is incredible," Clara whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. She reached out to touch one of the crystals, and instantly, images and data flooded her mind. It was like opening a book, but instead of words, she saw entire concepts unfold in an instant. Ethan stood beside her, equally amazed. "It's like everything we've ever wanted to know is right here," he said softly. Mia walked among the crystals, studying their structure. "This isn't just information. It's alive," she said. "These crystals adapt, growing and changing based on who interacts with them." Logan nodded, running his fingers over a nearby crystal. He felt a strange warmth, as if the structure recognized him. "Imagine what we could do with this back on Earth," he said. "We could solve problems we didn't even think were solvable." But not everyone shared the same excitement. Victor Lane looked uneasy, his arms crossed tightly. "What if we can't handle this?" he asked. "What if we misuse it or lose control? Power like this, it changes people." His concerns echoed through the chamber, reminding the crew of the weight of their responsibility. Solon turned to face Victor, its glowing form steady and unwavering. "Your doubts are valid," it said. "The Verlaise themselves fell because they failed to balance their power with wisdom. You must learn from their mistakes. Use this knowledge to uplift, not to dominate." Captain Ryan Hayes stepped forward, his expression serious but determined. "We understand the risks," he said, "but we also know what this could mean for humanity. We won't let fear stop us from doing what's right." The others nodded in agreement, united in their resolve. Before leaving the chamber, Solon gave them one final warning. "The galaxy will watch you now," it said. "Other civilizations may see your rise as a threat, or as hope. How you carry yourselves will shape not only your future but the future of all life in the stars." As the crew prepared to leave the ring world, they gathered in the ship's main hall to discuss their next steps. Clara spoke first. "We need to share this carefully," she said. "Not everyone on Earth is ready for something like this. If we rush, we'll cause chaos." Sophie agreed. "We should focus on solving our biggest problems first. Poverty, disease, war. Show humanity that this power can make life better for everyone." Mia added, "And we need to teach people how to use it responsibly. Knowledge without understanding is dangerous." Logan sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Easier said than done. There are going to be people who want to exploit this for their own gain. How do we stop them?" Captain Hayes looked at his team, his voice firm. "By staying united. By remembering why we came here. And why we passed those trials. We proved that humanity can work together when it matters most. Now we have to keep proving it." With heavy hearts but renewed purpose, the crew boarded the Odyssey and began their journey home. As the ring world faded into the distance, Clara stared out the window, lost in thought. They had been given a chance to change the course of history, to lead humanity into a new era. But she knew the hardest part was yet to come. The real test wouldn't be in space. It would be back on Earth, where fear and greed often outweighed hope and unity. Still, as the ship sailed through the stars, Clara allowed herself a small smile. For the first time, humanity wasn't alone in the universe, and maybe, just maybe, they were ready to take their place among the stars. When the Odyssey returned to Earth, the crew knew their discovery would change everything. News of the Virilay's legacy spread quickly, sparking both excitement and fear across the planet. Governments, scientists, and ordinary people debated what this meant for humanity. Some saw it as a chance to solve Earth's biggest problems, while others worried about the dangers of wielding such immense power. Clara Bennett and Ethan Cole were invited to speak before the United Earth Council. Standing in front of world leaders, they explained what they had found on the ring world. "This isn't just technology," Clara said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "It's knowledge. Knowledge that could help us end hunger, cure diseases, and protect our planet. But it also comes with responsibility. If we misuse it, we could destroy ourselves." The council members listened carefully, but their reactions varied. Some were eager to dive in and start using the crystal's information right away. Others were cautious, urging slow and careful study. Victor Lane, who had grown more skeptical during the journey, argued against rushing into anything. "We're not ready for this," he said. "What happens when someone uses this power for war or greed? We'll tear ourselves apart." Despite the disagreements, one thing was clear. Humanity couldn't ignore what they had discovered. Under Clara and Ethan's guidance, a team of experts began working to integrate the Virilay's knowledge into human society. They started small, focusing on areas where the impact could be greatest. Scientists used the data to develop new ways to grow food in harsh environments, bringing hope to regions struggling with famine. Medical researchers unlocked cures for diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Engineers designed cleaner energy sources, reducing pollution and helping heal the planet. But progress wasn't without challenges. Not everyone agreed on how to use the knowledge. Corporations and governments clashed over who should control the technology. Protests erupted in cities around the world, with some people demanding equal access to the benefits, while others feared the changes would disrupt their lives too much. Amid the chaos, Captain Ryan Hayes and his crew became symbols of unity. They traveled across the globe, sharing their story and urging people to work together. "This isn't about individual gain," Ryan said at a global summit. "It's about all of us moving forward as one. The Virilai chose humanity because of our ability to adapt, to learn, and to grow. Let's prove them right." Slowly, humanity began to change, not just technologically, but culturally. People started thinking beyond borders and differences, realizing they shared a common future among the stars. Schools added lessons about the Virilai and the importance of responsible innovation. Artists created works inspired by the ring world, imagining what humanity might achieve next. As the months passed The Odyssey prepared for its next mission. This time, the ship wouldn't just explore, it would represent humanity to the galaxy. The crew felt a mix of pride and nervousness. They knew the universe would be watching, judging whether humanity truly deserved its place among the stars. On the day of departure, Clara stood on the launch pad, looking up at the sleek spacecraft. She thought about everything they had been through, the trials, the fears, the moments of wonder. Humanity had taken its first step towards something greater, but she knew the journey was far from over. Captain Hayes joined her, gazing at the sky. "Ready for whatever comes next?" he asked with a smile. Clara nodded. "As ready as we'll ever be." As the Odyssey lifted off, leaving Earth behind once again, Clara felt a spark of hope. Humanity had amazed the galaxy by proving its potential. Now it was time to live up to that promise, to show that even an imperfect species could rise to greatness. The stars awaited, and for the first time, humanity felt truly prepared to meet them. The journey of the Odyssey into the stars marked a new chapter for humanity. With the Virilay's legacy as their guide, the crew set out to explore the galaxy and represent Earth as its ambassadors. This time, they weren't just seeking answers, they were sharing humanity's story with the universe. As the ship traveled deeper into space, it encountered wonders beyond imagination. Glittering nebulae stretched across the horizon like cosmic paintings, and distant planets glowed with colors no human eye had ever seen. Each discovery filled the crew with awe, but their mission was clear: to connect with other civilizations and show that humanity had grown worthy of the Virilay's trust. Their first contact came unexpectedly. While scanning a star system, the crew detected signs of life on a nearby planet. The beings who lived there were unlike anything they had imagined. Tall, translucent creatures who communicated through shifting patterns of light on their skin. At first, the encounter was tense. Neither side knew what to expect. But Clara stepped forward, holding up one of the crystals from the Virilay's archive. Its glow seemed to resonate with the aliens, calming them instantly. Through careful gestures and shared images projected by the crystal, the two groups began to communicate. The aliens called themselves the Luminous, a peaceful species devoted to harmony with nature. They explained that they had once known the Virilay and respected their wisdom. When they saw the crystal, they understood that humanity had been chosen to carry on that legacy. "They see us as equals now," Sophie said, her voice trembling with emotion. "We're not just visitors. We're part of something bigger." Word of humanity's arrival spread quickly among the Luminous allies. Other species reached out, eager to meet this new heir to the Virilay's dominion. Some were curious, others cautious, but all were intrigued by the idea that a once divided species could unite under a common goal. Captain Ryan Hayes made sure every interaction was peaceful, showing respect and humility. "We're here to learn, not to conquer," he told each group they met. His words earned humanity trust and admiration. Back on Earth, the changes continued. The knowledge from the Virilay's archive transformed society in ways no one had thought possible. Cities became cleaner and more sustainable, powered by energy sources that didn't harm the environment. Conflicts dwindled as people focused on solving problems together instead of fighting over resources. Even the arts flourished, inspired by humanity's newfound place among the stars. But challenges remained. Not everyone agreed on how to use the Virilay's gifts, and tensions sometimes flared. Victor Lane, still skeptical, warned against growing too confident. "Just because we've been given this power doesn't mean we're perfect," he said at a global meeting. "We need to stay humble, or risk losing everything." His words reminded people to remain vigilant, even as they celebrated their progress. Years passed, and the Odyssey became a symbol of hope, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. Its crew traveled farther than any humans before them, forging alliances and spreading stories of humanity's rise. Along the way, they discovered that many civilizations still remembered the Virilay and mourned their loss. By honoring the Virilay's memory, humanity earned a place among these ancient cultures, proving that even an imperfect species could strive for greatness. One evening, as Clara stood on the observation deck of Asterisk, the Odyssey Asterisk, she looked out at the endless expanse of stars. She thought about how far they had come, from a small planet struggling to survive, to explorers welcomed by the cosmos. Humanity wasn't perfect, and it never would be. But that was okay. What mattered was the effort, the willingness to grow, to learn, and to reach for something greater. Captain Hayes joined her, his hands clasped behind his back. "What do you think the future holds?" he asked quietly. Clara smiled. "I don't know, but I do know one thing. We'll face it together." As the ship sailed onward, its engines humming softly, it carried not just the hopes of humanity, but the promise of a brighter future for all life in the galaxy. The stars shone brighter than ever, and for the first time, humanity felt ready to shine alongside them.